Alright everybody, so it looks like we have semifinals between TwistedHD and Kainxjm. They are just about ready to go, and we will hop in as soon as they start. I do have their classes. It looks like Kain is running Warrior, Priest, Mage, Druid, and he has banned his Druid. Okay, looks like they're ready to go. Let's hop right in. So it looks like Kain's Priest versus Twisted's Rogue. Usually against Priest, depending on what type of Rogue it is, the matchups can be very polarizing. Let's say it's Miracle Rogue, he has a very good chance of just quickly bursting down the Priest. But if it's, it looks like it is Odd Rogue, so the Priest just has to survive to the late game, and then it's almost guaranteed to win. So we can see if Kain can hold out the onslaughts of incoming threats from the Rogue. We can take a peek at Twisted Hands too. Let's do that. So it looks like Twisted's hand is actually fairly decent for an opener. So he's debating whether he wants to Dire Maul, coin Cold Blood, or just pass. The Cold Blood is the more aggressive, risky play, but it can be easily punishable by, say, Silence. If he just puts a Dire Maul, I wouldn't recommend that for him because he can just heal, bump the Cleric and heal, which is a very strong position for the Priest. Okay, so it looks like he did Cold Blood, and he's being unpunished, which is great for the Rogue. He should be very happy to see that. So it looks like the only thing Kain can do to contest is slam down this Pyromancer, but as we know, Odd Rogue, 2 damage weapon, trades very well into the Pyromancer. So looks like Twisted has a clear coast to victory. He has free reign basically to do whatever he wants at this point. He knows that Kain does not have an answer. The only thing he would have was Silence. There's some control priests run Shadow Red Death, which can kill all 5 attack minions or more, but it's not very common. So Twisted is in the coast for a couple turns now. He can punch face, hopefully get some chip damage in before some Leroy Cold Blood shenanigans come in. Opting to play the Hench Clan Thug, very aggressive play, I like this a lot. Smacking with his weapon, developing a huge, wide board that Priest has trouble dealing with until turn 7. Psychic Scream is his only big removal. No Light Bomb, sorry guys. This is a very awkward turn for Twisted because he would like to Dagger and Death Speaker and double bump with his weapon in. Unfortunately, he does not have the mana to do it, so he is going to have to sacrifice some damage to kill this Drake, or just punch face and then let the Dire Maul die. He almost certainly is going to equip a weapon this turn, yes. And due to the mana disadvantage, the way Odd works out, he can't play any of his cards, which feels really bad, but pushing damage seems to be worth it, as Kain is at 11 health. Measly 11 health already on turn 5. So very low. But Kain has access to some very strong AoE and heal, thanks to the Pyromancer Divine Hymn combo, allowing him to heal the 6, keep his Drake up, and heal his face, and deal wound damage, which is very strong. And speaking of strong plays, Death Speaker is some great value here, allowing for some trading up, keeping his board alive, and keeping the pressure on. And even though it looks like Twisted is in the lead here, which he is for the most part, in the back of his head he has to know that in the late game some very powerful threats are going to come down. So he needs to close. He needs to close this game quick before Twisted can get his strong minions online. I'm sorry, Kain can get his strong minions online, like Alexstrasza, Shadow Reaper, Anduin, and other strong threats he may have. Ooh, Fungalmans are coming down. Fungalmans are one of the great new additions in the last few expansions. Allows for some insanely strong tempo plays, which is essentially a 5-mana 6/6 spread across 3 minions. But like I said before, turn 7 he's too late, Kainxjm comes down, he drew a second one, so it looks like he has some stabilization tools. Shadow Reaper Anduin can deal with some Cobalt Scalebanes. Ironically enough, if he chooses the Cobalt Scalebane into, say, SI or Blink Fox, Shadow Reaper will be able to kill them both due to the buff. It's a little funny, unfortunate Hearthstone thing applying to Twisted right now. You know, it's little jank. The buff is actually his downfall. In this scenario, however, it's not, because this would be buffed to a 4/2, sorry, and it'll avoid Shadow Reaper's Claw of Death. Yep, Kain's only option here is to Anduin, allow him to remove some pressure, gain some health. However, it is to be noted that he does lose his healing hero power, which is very strong against the more aggressive archetypes. However, dealing 2 damage minimum per turn is very good. This is essentially a better mage's hero power. Combined with cheap spells such as Powered Shield, they can easily clear away these minions. This game is very back and forth. Guys, as you can see, Twisted's got a strong hand of minions, and Kain's here with some limited tools, but doing his best to stay alive. And hopefully outlast the damage and finish him off with some Alex Mind Blast combos. Kain's just choosing the Psychic Scream to remove this board. Questionable play. He could choose to Drake and remove ping off some of the minions. However, he feels that it is better just to clear them all away, guaranteed. However, thanks to the fact that those were his 2 default copies, 2 original copies in his deck, Kain no longer has access to Shadow Visions into more copies of Psychic Scream. So that's something to be looking out for. Twisted will have picked up on this and he'll realize, oh, he has no more Psychic Streams in his deck or his hand. And he's free reign to just play as many minions to his heart's content. Alex probably going to come down here. The other option would be a combination of Pings and Twilight Drake. As you can see, Twisted is running the tech card Void Ripper, which allows him to switch the attacks and health of every minion on board, which is a cheeky way of cheesing in 2 more damage for a total of 8 burst damage coming to Kain's face, 10 including his weapon actually. It looks like Twist is also running Holy Water, a card I have not seen very much of. It says 5 mana, deal 4 damage to a minion that kills it, add a copy to your hand. Oh, sorry, my bad. Of course, this is from Blink Fox. The priest card. Of course. This is a removal, allows him to get through some taunts, some big minions if he has any. Trying to get some minions off the board, which is usually the priest's job, but Twisted's running out of steam here. Of course, he still has his consistent 2 damage per turn guaranteed from his weapon, but minion pressure is really where the rogue thrives. And aside from some bursts from Leroy and Coldbloods, it looks like Twisted's running out of gas. And 2 shields on hand to guarantee 2 extra pings, which can definitely clean up some of the board here. Very, very risky situation for both players, in fact. Oh, I like this play a lot. It's high tempo play, using all his cards very efficiently, swapping the attack of the Drake and using the Holy Water to clear off the board. It looks like Kane's on his last feat here. Maybe he can get some removal, some more tools, more cards to rebuff his hero power. So he can ping, card, and hopefully clear some of these minions. But Alex is the other play. But it looks like Twisted has 15 damage, including his weapons, so any SIs, any Leroys, any Cold Bloods, any Deadly Poisons will be lethal. So Kane's trying to weigh the odds. Can he clear this? Does he have to Alex now? It looks like he has to Alex because he can ping, but he has no friendly targets for shield, so it looks like he will have to just Alex and hope there's no repercussions. Kane's just debating whether he should power shield now or save it. It does allow him to card draw, which he desperately needs, but also allows him to ping, which he also desperately needs. And that's the spell coming a little too late. Ooh, big pickup with the Cobalt Scalebane. Big source of fuel for the rogue, allowing him to put some more pressure on. Without the help of Psychic Scream, the only way I see Kane getting out of this is through some Pyromancer plays, but that'll also require him to have Divine Hymn, which is the only heal card he has left, thanks to the fact that he's Shadow Reaper Anduin, and has no longer healing abilities. Looks like Twisted's opting to full clear into the Alex, realizing that Kane no longer has many removal tools left, opting to play 2 mid-range sized minions in favor of smaller ones. Playing on the Pyromancer, and it looks like Master Spell is Kane's only choice here, trying to draw some more cards, maybe clear off the Scalebane, and it looks like he's going to be successful. Twisted making some odd plays. He would have been 2 damage off lethal, which would have been guaranteed by his dagger. Instead, Kane's left at 13 health, far out of the range of his dagger on Leroy. Looks like Kane might just come back into this game.
Like to play with fire? Job's done.
The powered shield on the Pyromancer keeps it out of dagger range, which is huge, because if Twisted wants to clear off this essentially AoE machine, he's going to have to sacrifice 5 damage and his minion. Which is a huge, huge loss for Twisted, and it looks like, unless Leroy is picked up, Kane should close out the game in a few turns. Send the wide side, basically down the top deck, sees a 1 out of 20 chance to draw Leroy, which is not very high odds, considering Oddrobe does not run any card draw as well. And thanks to his Acolyte and Pyromancer, Kane's able to draw the majority of his deck now, 3 cards, which is a huge asset to him. Ooh, Blink Fox could lead into some damage. Holy Smite, Mind Blast, see what he picks up. Psychic Scream, is not the best tool. It does remove some of this pressure, however, it also gets rid of his 3-3. Kain is now essentially on a 2-turn clock unless he can pick up any from healing. Oh, Twilight Drake! Massive, massive pickup, ladies and gentlemen. This essentially seals out the game as no longer Leroy nor Dagger will be able to get through this 8 health taunt. Unbeknownst to Kain though, Twisted does have a Void Print in his hand, which will allow him to clear off this Drake rather easily if he has minions available. So we shall see. And it looks like Double Mind Blast shall close out the game. Game 1 goes to Kain. Kainxjm beating the odd rogue with his control priest. We should switch these around. That's my little misleading. So Kain is up 1-0. Oh, my bad. Kain is up 1-0. There we go. Waiting to the next game. Let's see what else. What other decks they're running. Kain is running Warrior, Priest, Mage. His Druid is banned. So he looks like Kain just has Warrior and Mage left. Versus Twisted's Rogue, Warlock, and Druid. So we know there's Odd Rogue coming out of Twisted, and yep, looks like Kain is running the Quest Warrior. Another controlling style deck. We'll see if Twisted's able to push past the endless walls of taunts and armor coming out of the Warrior. Should be a daunting task ahead. So in this matchup, Kain does not really need to keep the quest because he's not going to finish out games by completing the quest and bursting down face out times. He's going to finish the game by clearing and destroying all the rogue resources like last game. So some players choose not to keep the quest in certain aggressive matchups. However, Kain feels like he will need the assurance of the Ragnarok's hero power to finish out the game. Twisted getting a very poor starting hand, no 1-drops. Leading into Henge Clan Thug, which is a strong card. However, against Warrior, it's not the most optimal opener. You would want usually Cold Bloods and Diamonds. Kain opting to coin out the Military Commander just to clear off the 4-4. It will trade in with the weapon, however, as Twisted is the aggressor, the Rogue is the aggressor, he feels it'll be okay. He can sacrifice, he can take the trade, he doesn't need to push any minions on board or keep any sticky minions. His game plan is just to remove all his minions by playing efficient taunts and removals, clearing the quest, and then just bring the Rogue out of resources. So Twisted is just considering whether he wants to Cold Blood here in advance, because the next turn he will probably want to Death Speaker and Hero Power, not leaving any mana left for Cold Blood. If Cold Blood's now, he realizes it's accessible to Slam and Whirlwind effects. Most warriors don't run Fiery War Axe anymore, rest in peace. Best weapon in the game. Because I don't know, Fiery War Axe used to be a 2 mana 3/2 weapon, that's now a 3 mana 3/2, which is essentially a pretty bad weapon. It's pretty bad now. It used to be in every deck, warrior deck, from the beginning of time to last November. Rest in peace. Yep, it looks like Twisted the rogue just curving out, as rogues do. Unfortunately for him, Kain has more efficient removals than Twisted has minions. So if this match keeps on its current trajectory, it looks like Kain will be up a solid 2-0. Fungal Mants are being picked up, which is one of the few ways rogues can come back. They can stick a Fungal Mancer on with no Brawl and no Warpath. Maybe they could push face a couple turns, fit in a Leroy and a Cold Blood, and that's a game. But as we know, Kain has got a myriad of defensive tools, from Cornered Sentry plus Drywisker to gain a bunch of armor, Warpath, one of the best removal tools in the game, a Wall of Taunts, silences for Van Cleefs, any other big minions. So Twisted here just making as big as a board as possible, and not as wide, because Warrior only has one or two defensive tools against large minions, such as 10-3s or 5-5s, whether from Execute and Scourge Lord Garrosh. Some Warrior Shooter and Shield Slap, but I don't think Kain is. Warriors are more adept at dealing with wide boards, such as Token Druid with a board full of 1/1s, 2/2s, double Warpath, easy clear. But as we can see here, Kain's gonna have trouble dealing with these two big minions. It looks like he's trying to play out a Wall of Taunt to soften them up a little bit, so that the 2 and 1 health respectively, and then playing Warpath to clear. Very, very smart strategy. Now Twisted's debating. He's trying to manage his resources so he doesn't play too much into Brawl, which can destroy or decimate both. Combine these words, destroy his board. So he's trying to decide, how can I push the most damage while still maintaining enough cards in hand that I can refill. And Rabid Worgen seems to be the answer, and I agree. It allows him to build up his board, to clear away the taunts, and still push them to face, while Brawl is not too much of a hindrance. Unfortunately for Twisted, as we can see, Warpath will very efficiently clear all these minions away, and Twisted will be left to square one, which is to say, medium-sized hand and no board, but a little more mana. Yep, Warpath coming down, clearing away these minions, stalling the game longer and longer. And as seeing as the minion plan failed, looks like Twisted's going after the weapon plan. A fearsome 5/3 weapon, that's better than Arcanite Reaper. I'm developing 5/4 as well. This large weapon will do 15 damage over 3 turns. Half the health pool of the warrior, very scary indeed. However, as we know, Kain has access to the combination of Cornered Sentry plus Drywisker Armorer, which in this case will give him 10 armor, and then he can finish off with Blood Razor, clearing away the 1/1s. Cornered Sentry is turning out to be one of the strongest tools Quest Warrior has access to, as it combos so efficiently with Drywisker Armorer, Brawl, and it can be cleared away with some of Warrior's many whirlwind tools. Cornered Sentry is probably one of the strongest tools Warrior has access to in this meta. So Kain does have the useful tool of Scourge Lord Garish. However, he may choose not to play it, as it removes his healing hero power, just as in the last game. It gives him more removal tools, but it makes him less healthy. And Twisted deciding he has to go all in now, while he knows Kain does not have the brawl, trying to set up a maximum board as possible, pushing as much face, saying, you better have answers or you lose. And Kain can somewhat answer. Oh, never mind. Do not see that at first glance. He does have a very good answer. Very elegant, in fact. As playing Scourge Lord Garish will equip Shadowmourne, and it'll clear away some of the health, and keeping the Captain Cruiskin at 4 health. And due to the unfortunate nature of Fungomancer, he has to put Fungomancer in the middle, which is a clean sweep for his 4-3 weapon. Clean, 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 clear. Ooh, this is a very interesting pickup. Rod Face. This may, in fact, be his way back into the game. Obviously, besides Leroy. Leroy plus Burst, plus other bursts and minions on board is the classic rogue way of killing people. However, Rod Face can add an alternate win condition by just spewing out large minions. And Kain just slamming down the Stonehill, opting to pick Stubborn Gastropod, a tech we now see in Even Luck. This is interesting pickup considering the rogue has a 2-2 weapon, but I'm sure Kain has a plan. He's running low on resources, so Acolyte may be a fine drop here. Try to get some cards back on board, but it looks like Kain just wants to have his quest complete. That's why he chose to pick the cheaper taunts as opposed to the beefier 5-9 taunt, which would keep him alive longer. It looks like Kain is trying to push lethal as soon as possible here. Trying to set up lethal with his hero power and execute, along with Sulfurous. Not sure why he didn't push phase, considering he could push 8 damage between 2 turns, plus the hero power, which would be 16 damage, which would be lethal. However, choosing to save the very strong ability Shadowmourne has of cleaving away 3 minions with 1 attack. Right face being slammed down, and this makes it so he's guaranteed to get a legendary unless Kain chooses to silence, which I think he will. Not willing to run the gamble of getting a large taunt minion. Kain will have to silence this first before he chooses to hero power with his Acolytes, or else, like I said, if let's say a Tyrantus pops out, it's lights out for Kain for sure. A 4-6 in itself is quite threatening to a player with 9 health. So we'll see how Kain tries to deal with this. Kain just trying to set up the Acolyte here for draws. Typical play, what you'd expect. Clearing the board, drawing some more cards. All in good warrior fashion. It looks like Twisted is closing in on lethal here, as he has the combination of Leroy plus Valspine to kill any taunts and push 8 to face. So now Twisted's just trying to decide how he's going to set up lethal as best as possible. Will he try to go for a Funkomancer board or Valspine now? It's up to him. I personally think trying to set up double Funkomancer, like double Firefly into Funkomancer, seems to be the correct play here. But we'll see what Twisted comes up with himself. And it looks like Twisted the Rogue is going for the Valsfine play, trying to punch as much damage as face possible. And as you can see, without the aid of any taunts or armor gain, it looks like Twisted will be able to close out the game. Keen will have 2 or 3 more draws depending on whether he chooses to play Accolade or not. Or 3 or 4 rather. Ooh, big pickup, huge pickup in fact. Keeping Keen alive for now. Actually, I don't think so. My bad. Fungomancer Leroy is still too much for Keen to handle, so he will have to get some more defensive tools if he wants to stay alive. Let's see what he will pick up. Oh, Shield Slam being picked up, not a very useful tool considering he has 0 armor. And Kane did manage to clear with his weapon. Now looks like Twisted, both players on the brink of death. And it does look like, yep, Void Ripper coming out. Twisted does spot the lethal puzzle and pushing face with Leroy. Even 1-1, both players picking up a game. Twisted with his Autorook and Kane with his Control Priest. Just change the score real quick. Okay, so this game is turned out to be neck to neck. We'll see who can close out the next match. Remember folks, this is the semifinals for HSEL Hearthstone Nationals. The winner of this will go to the finals where they have the chance to compete for $2,500 US in scholarship money. Very exciting opportunity for both players. And it looks like Kane's Taunt Warrior is going back up against Twisted's Even Warlock. A matchup I'm not too familiar in, as Taunt Warrior is not the most played deck. But from my knowledge, it looks like Evenlock will have to be the beatdown in this deck, in this matchup. Evenlock will have to be the one who's pushing minions, playing aggressively, as the combination of Brawl and Hero Powers out of the Warrior will ultimately lead to the Warlock's death, as obviously the Warrior will win a Fatigue, thanks to armor gain, less card draw than the Warlock, its new Hero Power with Ragnaros, so it's we're gonna have to see Twisted pushing damage, and it looks like his hand is excellent at pushing damage. He has 200 Giants, the best, by far and away the best card in the Warlock's deck is Mountain Giant, and he's both of them. Very strong opener. He's got Silences and Black Knights to clear taunts, Doomsayers to gain initiative. Twisted's having very, very powerful draws. We'll see if Kane does pick up the executes to be able to handle this onslaught to minions. The Warlock is just going to spew out in a moment's time. And thanks to Kainxjm, our friend over there, the Warlock's Hero Power only costs 1 now, and Giant is able to come out on 3. Just think about this, folks. On turn 3, for 7 mana, you can summon a 16/16. It's absolutely nuts, the power of Evenlock. And yep, Mountain Giant coming down on board just on time. Funnily enough, it's now an elemental after the new patch. The only removal Kane has access to would be, at this point, Execute and Shield Slam. Brawl's a little unreliable, could screw him over. So we'll see him trying to fish for cards. He does have the access to Shield Block, Hero Power plus Shield Slam in a few turns time, which will clear 1, but the matter of the second Giant is very important. So Twisted, coming in turn 5, he's going to be painfully aware of the fact that Brawl exists, and if Brawl does manage to come down, can decimate both his giants and destroy his lead. I like this a lot coming out of the Warlock, trying to silence the card draw, realizing that the only way he's clearing is through removal, and removal is gained through card draw. Very smart choice, opting to let some taunts live in favor of removing some card draw. So on an empty board now, he has free reign to slam down second giant. Very deadly combination. Shield Slam and Brawl are both out of the equation, as even if Kain had them, he cannot play them. Oh, huge pickup with Execute. Huge Execute. The fact that he's getting more Stone Heals and more Dark Reapers is huge in 2, because this means Twisted cannot punch face with his giants as much as he'd want to. Instead, his giants have to be resorted to clearing away little taunts that, although it won't be large at first, all these little taunts will add up, and eventually a card like Warpath will be able to kill these giants away. So it looks like he has managed to pick up enough taunts to stall for now. We'll see if he can play them in an efficient manner and keep them away. So yeah, like I was saying, Kain is trying to set up some smaller taunts right now to combo with his removal, and Twisted knows this. Twisted knows this. He's trying to play around both Brawl and this idea I just described, small minions and little removal. So now he's going to have to decide to what removal he's going to use on what minions, and how he wants to space out his threats, so he won't just immediately lose all his board pressure to Brawl. It looks like I was turn 8 passes, coining out, turn 7 passes, sorry. Coining out Lich King seems to be the right play here. Again, realizing there's no executes, no shield slams available. Trying to put as much pressure as possible, I like it. Like it a lot. Kain's holding on by a thread here. Just trying to play as many taunts as he can just to not even damage the minions at this point, just trying to stay alive. A very dire situation. It looks like Twisted has the Blood Reaper go down in hand and when some more taunts die. Unfortunately for him, I'm sorry, more demons have died. No, demons have died on the side of Kain, but unfortunately for him, Twisted has found Lethal Puzzle yet again. Hellfire Defile clearing away and allowing the 60 damage to push face. Like I said, there's the only thing keeping Kain alive was this wall of rinky dinky taunts. It looks like Twisted's going to close out another game. 2-1 in favor of TwistedHD. One more game coming up. Let's see what it has. And it looks like the final deck for Twisted is his Druid. I don't know what it is. Based off the fact that he's running Arcane Tyrant, we can assume it's Token Druid, but I could be wrong. So Kain is going to have to win 2 games in a row if he wants to close out the series. His Warrior and his Warrior and his Mage have to beat this Token Druid deck. Both favorable matchups. Yep, as you can see from the Bad Teacher, it is in fact the Token Druid. So the Druid specialty is playing a bunch of small minions, a wide board, and buffing them with Power of the Wild, Slow of the Forest, cards like this. Unfortunately for the Druid, as we all know painfully too well, Warrior runs a myriad of cards such as Blood Razor, Warpath, Scourge Lord Garish, Brawl, which are excellent, very efficient tools. High value tools at clearing away small minions. So Twisted is going to have to struggle to manage his resources in order to not get instantly punished by one warpath. If Twisted only has 4 cards that will allow him to generate a board reliably, these are 2 Violet Teachers and 2 copies of what's the card called? My bad. Sorry guys. It's the 4-mana Druid spell that summons a 1/1 for each card in your hand. Those are the only 4 tools that he has that will allow him to build a board. And if he sinks, say, 1 or 2 of them down, and Kain just plays Warpath, then that's half his game plan gone right there. For only 1 of Kain's removal tools. Of course, Sorcerers plus all the Forest will not even be that helpful, as it would only require 3 procs of Warpath to clear. So it's very efficient. Blood Razor, 4 mana, 2 whirlwind effects again. It just seems that everything the warrior does counters everything the druid does. I don't see a very clear path of Twisted winning this without getting some very early pressure. And early Death Knights will help for sure, but it's not going to guarantee anything. Yep, Warpath being picked up, Blood Razor being picked up, Scourge Lord, I can't pronounce that. I don't know why I can't pronounce that card. Scourge Lord Garrosh. Dry Whisker Armor also going to be able to allow him to get up to 20 plus armor. Just ridiculous stuff from the warrior. And Kain's deciding whether what removal tools he wants to spend, if he wants to spend any at all. He could silence this Violet Teacher to prevent the board from being built, but he also wants to save it for a buffed minion with Death Rattle summon a 2/2. Looks like he's opting to go with spending 1 removal tool to remove 1 of Twisted's board generating tools, which is a fair trade. Because Kain has 8 to 10 cards / effects that will allow him to clear small minions. 2 from Blood Razor, or 4 from Blood Razor in fact, because Blood Razor in fact has 2 Death Rattles, 2 Whirlwind effects, so it's, yeah, upwards of 10 very effective removal options, while Twisted only has 4 minion options that will get a minion, so looks like Twisted's gonna have to somehow cheese out this game. Not sure how he's gonna do that. Yeah, Whispering Woods, sorry, that's the card I was trying to find. The best combination in this deck is, Whispering Woods, Slow the Forest, and Whispering Woods, give them all the minions 1/1, and then Slow the Forest. But that's just for 8 mana in 1 card. Kain can just fully remove everything. So. Druid Death Knight. It's a good pickup. It just allows him to get some more value from his hero power, push some more damage. It won't be the most impactful choice he makes in this game, but it definitely will not hurt him. You can see Kain is eyeing the Dry Whisker Armor, perhaps trying to pair it with the Blood Razor. Yep. Fully remove all these minions, leaving some 1/5s up, not too threatening. He realizes against the Druid, the buffs definitely are on the way, but considering the small hand size, he is probably expecting UI, Ultimate Infestation. Buys him some time. Again, the warrior's playing a very grindy style. Very grindy style, so he doesn't have to threaten the Druid with any big taunts or any hero powers. All he has to do is just clear, and he wins the game. Looks like he's going to Nourish for some cards, trying to get some more resources. No UI found yet, which is a very, very unfortunate turn of events. UI is, though, as we all know, if you ever played Hearthstone in the last, let's say, year or so, year and a half, we all know the incredibly annoying, frustrating, and rewarding power of Ultimate Infestation. For 10 mana, you draw 5 cards, deal 5 damage, gain 5 health, and summon a 5/5. And in this case, Twisted just wants to get the cards down and get a body on board. Instead, he's going to have to nourish to get some more resources, which is fine, but usually you want to nourish on 5 or 6, or 4 perhaps, to ramp up even faster, but as soon as he's already in 10 mana, drawing cards is the only option. So Twisted is going to want to start building a board of his own, but he realizes if he doesn't clear with his Acolyte, Kane's going to have access to 3 more cards, something he does not want to give the Warrior at all. Giving Warrior card draw is not a good thing, unless you're playing the Warrior, of course. You got Valley Teacher slamming down on board. He's trying to build a board as fast as possible. Unfortunately, as we can see from Kane's hand, it's not going to live very long. Not going to live very long at all. Aside from the 4 cards that I mentioned, Spreading Plague also is another option that can build up a board, but against Warrior, not very minions being played, so it's more just 6 mana summon a 1/5. Oh, this is some unfortunate turn of events for Twisted and beautiful moments for Kane, as triple Warpath will allow him to draw 3 cards and kill the majority of these minions. He needs to use his weapon to clear, and then triple Warpath, or bump in. Yep. Oh, yeah, it's fitting the Draskar armor too is a great little nifty thing, weaving in some armor gain when possible. Because at this point, Twisted is not going to have a board stick for more than 1 turn. So Kane realizes this and says in his head, well, the only way he's living is, the only way he's killing me is if he builds a wide board for more than 1 turn. Then the only way he's going to kill me is if he uses a combination of Savage Wars and Branching Paths. So might as well gain the armor now, so that's not an option to him. So if Twisted has managed to stick a board for more than 2 turns, he's already won, most times. So if you stack a board, you can double Savage or Branching Paths for a multiplier of 6 damage per turn for each minion. Very, very deadly. And Twisted here is trying to decide how much he wants to commit. If he wants to commit to more minions, commit to more buffs, because he knows the inevitable is going to happen. He knows Warrior has 7 cards in hand, which is definitely some removal. So he knows if he commits too hard, he's just going to get punished. So he needs to space out of his resources enough so that he'll still be able to live through the wave of removal coming in. The Druid just trying to push as much damage as face as possible, makes sense. And Kane here is not deciding whether he can clear or he wants to clear, but how he's going to clear, because he has so many options. Primordial Drake seems the cleanest, I like it. Summoning a big body for him to clear with again, the traded minions with, and also the Battle Cry. Playing a copy of Consecration, kind of. To all minions, but in this case, only his minions. Kane, you can hear power, coin hero power here. I personally like that because he's gonna want to Scourge Lord soon. Getting some one last hero powers, not a bad thing to do. And like I said, Scourge Lord himself, Scourge Lord Garrosh. Here's the thing, in my head, I think I'm like, oh, I need Garrosh is a word coming next. So I just combine Garrosh with Scourge Lord. It just comes out as a jumbled mess. Not good. No bueno. No bueno, senor. But as I was saying, Scourge Lord Garrosh's hero power, deal 1 damage, Whirlwind. I'm just gonna blow him out of the water. Blow Twist out of the water, so the minute he plays this and can stick it, it's over. It's Dunzos. And remember, Twisted is up 2-1, so he has to win 2 more, and Twisted just has to win this last game if he wants to pull it out. You can see here, Twisted is on his last legs. It's his very last board of removal. But as we all know, Warpath is coming out. And with Warpath coming out, that means Brawl is also now available, because if you were to Brawl here, it would just summon a board of 2/2, so Brawl is essentially useless. Oh, he could Brawl and then Warpath, but it's very inefficient to use 2 removals for 1 board. So now the fact that he's baited out both Soul of the Forests, Brawl is now a viable clear. Kain, just as predicted, just playing down his Warpaths. Yep, it would have died anyways, so it's okay. Kain using his taunt to advantage, trying to stem some of the damage away from face. He could have saved the Cornered Sentry for Dry Whisker, but he feels that by the nature of Token Druid, he'll have enough minions to Dry Whisker anyways. And Twisted here is going to have to force to be used. Is going to have to be forced to use his Benching Paths to draw cards, when he would prefer to use Benching Paths to buff his minions up, to push more face damage, but he needs the tools now, he needs his cards now, and it looks like very, very weak turn. He probably will have to Benching Paths again, just to try to get some more removal, but I don't think it'll matter. This game is over. There's no way Twisted's getting back in this game. It's just impossible by the nature of this deck. It's over. So we're just seeing this game play out. We all know how it's gonna end. Twisted thinks he might have some hope, but we know, based off Kain's hand, it's over. Yup, Scourge Lord Garrosh coming down. With his new hero power online, it looks like there's nothing he can do. Nothing Twisted can do to stop. Just for 2 minutes turn, just butter it up. All minions gone. And Fatigue is going to set in soon, only 2 cards left. Running out of resources. The only minion generation he has left is second copy of Whispering Woods, but as we all know, that will die very fast to Blade Storm or double Brawl. Yep, this matchup is very lopsided towards the Warrior, of course. This is a predicted outcome. It's very hard for the Token Druid to find a way in through the wall of taunts and removals. So don't look too down upon Twisted. Not much you can do. Quite unfortunate. The Arcane Tyrant wasn't drawn from UI. Would have been playable then. I love this new Witchwood. Actually, no, I don't love it. I want to talk about this. This thing has no clickies. I believe this is the Witchwood, right? There's not very many things to click. I like the next one. It's the one that I remembered I used to love a lot. So, Twisted here forced to play a 6-mana 1/5. Not the best option in the game. It's the only hope of generating minions. A little sad, to be fair. Yep, fatigue setting in for Twisted. And he has very few ways of generating minions. 3 in fact, but he could UI for minions. He could Spreading Plague, and he could Power of the Wild, but I don't see why the concede button is coming out sooner. We're all waiting for it, buddy. I usually don't condone conceding, but when you're in a scenario like this, it's over. It's over. And Kain is really able to do whatever he wants. No play is a misplay at this point, so let's watch this case of abuse come in. Very efficient Shadowmourne, clearing away all the minions. And I don't know why Kain isn't conceding. There we go. Alright, I will get some water. I'll be back in 1 second, guys. The game will start soon enough. Let me get some water. I'll be back in 20 seconds. Alright, I'm back. And I'll take the final match between those two. Remember, winner goes to the finals. We have Kainxjm on the Big Spell Mage and TwistedHD on the Token Druid. This is a similar match as last time, with the Mage having access to lots of large AoE tools, although it is much more inefficient than the Druids. I mean the Warriors, sorry. The Warrior has, for say, 1 mana Whirlwind, and that's used to clear off a board of 1/1s, and instead Kain has to spend 5 mana to deal, let's say, 6 damage to all minions, when in fact the minion's health is only 1. So Twisted has a very high chance, not very high chance, has a better chance of winning this game, but we'll see who can manage to close it out. Twisted again is obviously the aggressor, hoping to push some early taunts, some early minions, and build a huge board, push face with some buffs, and finish off the mage before they can get their AoE online. And I see you, Lazarus in chat. Yeah, you're right about the Warpath. But I was saying, in that scenario, he could have just, instead of using both Brawl and Warpath, he could use Warpath first and not waste both removal tools. Excuse me. Twisted not picking up any wild growths, very unfortunate. And Kain will be able to play down a board of small minions, which may not seem impactful, but will in fact lead him to be able to clear off some smaller minions that Twisted will be able to play in turn. excuse me, Raven Familiar, picking up the Flame Strike, of course. Twisted could have gotten Ultimate Infestation, which would have beaten out any spell from Kain, but lucky enough for Kain, he managed to pick up a Flame Strike, another removal tool to his arsenal from 3 that he already has in hand. So Twisted has several options here. He can choose the Violet Teacher and Spellstone to clear away and generate a small board. He can Whispering Woods to create a large board, but very susceptible to Dragon's Fury. He can Wild Growth. He can Nourish, Coin Nourish. Lot of plays open to him. All of which seem to be punished by AoE, except for Nourish, of course, or Wild Growth. Yep, it's expected. Dragon's Fury coming down. There's no way the Mage is going to risk leaving that board up. As I was saying earlier, it's very inefficient. I give this exact scenario at the beginning of the game. I'll give it again. Warrior could spend 1 mana to deal that, but instead he spent 5 mana to do that, and he killed his own minions too. So Mage's removal tools are much more inefficient. Which is, this inefficiency is the gap that Twisted is going to try to take advantage of to push lethal. So Kain's debating whether he wants to play Rotten Appleplum or Arcane Keysmith. Oh, I just realized this. I don't know. Maybe you guys are smarter than me, but this just popped in my head. I was looking at this card and I realized it's Arcane Keysmith because this cat, I don't know, I want to call it a she. Maybe it's a he, I don't know. You know what? We here at HSEL, we don't assume genders here at HSEL, okay? We're very LGBTQ friendly. So, this cat is a keysmith, which means they can choose, they can take whatever key they want, and they have all the keys. They have access to all the keys in the world, which means they have access to all the secrets in the world. So you can discover a secret because you can pick any secret you want because they have access to all the secrets because they make the keys. I thought that was the most mind-boggling, insane flavor text on a card. I just felt like, whoa, so smart. But I digress. Okay, it's not that good of a card. It's decent. It's good enough to make the cut, but it's not the best card of the deck. So Twisted here is trying to make some room in his hand for UI. He's considering just playing the Spreading Plague on its lonesome, because in the past example, there's no reason to be dreading minions from a mage, unless Alana comes down, but that's a different scenario. So now he's gonna let the Doomsayer go off and let Kain take the initiative. And ooh, Counterspell coming down. And if Twisted does not think of Counterspell and he plays a naked UI, it's gonna be a huge loss, game changing. Not only is he gonna lose the card, he's gonna lose the whole turn. But due to the fact that Twisted had a very unfortunate starting hand, he has a lot of clunky cards that he doesn't really need to use, and he hasn't used, so now he's never in his hand to UI, so he's gonna have to free it up somehow. Teacher, double Spellstone perhaps, hold the Forest, things like this, you'll need to play to empty his hand. So, I mean, 6 mana, 2/10, something to them. It's not the best Spreading Plague, but it's probably the best you're going to get against this deck in this matchup. But we can see from the Mage's side, Kain still has access to a large variety of AoE and taunts to stall, so I don't see the Druid pushing through anytime soon. the Druid still needs to bait out 4 boards. Not 4 minions, but the Druid needs to use 4 boards to bait out this AoE before he can make another board and push for lethal finally. 5 boards, sorry. The sheer amount of removal in the mage's hand is outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. And the bump here, if Twisted is smart, and if Twisted was picked up on it, if he's perceptive, he would have realized at first the mage was going to bump into this one, then chose to bump into the one on the left, which is a clear indicator of Meteor coming in soon. It's a little telltale sign that Twisted could have picked up on. And he realized, oh, that means it's Meteor. I should play around that. And Twisted here, I think, yep, is going to play the UI, get some more cards, build this board a little bit. I don't think it's an Arcane Tyrant. He will mill a card, but I think in the grand scheme of things, it'll be worth it. So now the mage can either Dragon's Fury or Meteor. Flame Strike and Blizzard aren't very strong here, so he probably will opt to just play a taunt and ping away the 5-4, and then next turn Meteor ping till it's a 5-3. But the mage feels threatened enough by this board, and he realizes that he has enough removal in hand that he can just Meteor away this 5-5 and have enough. And Twisted will definitely know that Kain is not a bad player, and I realize the fact that he feels comfortable enough to Meteor a 5-5 alone shows how much removal is in the mage's hand. Very telltale sign. And the Twisted here is just doing his best to make as wide as board as possible, and funny enough, thanks to Soul of the Forest, these minions will be able to survive one round of AoE. Well, bad choice of wording. Choice of wording. They won't exactly survive, but he'll be left with a board after this round of AoE. So this like I said, this is gap. Because if the mage's removal was cheaper, let's say Whirlwind again, I'll give this an example. If this was a Whirlwind, he would have mana to Whirlwind and then Dragon Sphere or Whirlwind and remove. But now Kain is forced to use Doom Pact to kill his minions, but does not feel good, as Kain does still not have either Jaina or Alana. So some very powerful tools. Let's go on. Keysmith, that's fine. Alana, that's fine. Polymorph, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. Ooh, Jaina being gone. Both Jaina and Alana gone means that the mage's endgame potential is very, very severely hampered. So the mage usually closes out games by building a big board of, with Alana, and the druid just simply cannot deal with it, or plays Jaina and heals and grinds the druid down with healing, stalling water elementals. But the fact that they're both gone means that Kain's long-term removal and long-term sustain and long-term heal are all gone. Baron Geddon no longer heals for 10 plus, now he just deals 2. This is a severe, severe trauma to Kain's game plan. However, I do think he had to do it, as if the mage had left those 5 2/2s up, Double Savage Roar, plus Branching Paths, plus Swiper or whatnot, would have definitely killed them. So it was necessary, but very, very unfortunate from the mage. And now the only way this mage is getting back in is through fatigue, is through by slowly grinding out the resources from the druid. But usually, when I say grinding out, like in the warrior example, the warrior would grind out the druid and then play taunts of their own, develop their own board to sustain and punch face. In this example, however, Kain does no longer have the resources or actually any cards to retake board. So now he's just gonna have to force the clear board and just ping face. So no longer can he clear the board and summon a wall elemental. Now he just has to clear the board and do nothing and pass. So Kain is gonna have to be very, very vigilant with his resources, with his removal, and Twisted is going to have to mess up pretty severely for Kain to have a chance of getting back in this game. I take that back actually. However, Kain saw some removal tools in hand. It just depends how Twisted manages his board. If he can bait out a few more removal tools, he does have a chance of coming back in this game. And the 3 damage from face through the hero power does not help Kain at all. That will hurt a lot over time. Over a couple turns, after 3 turns, that's a Pyroblast's worth of damage for essentially free. The druid has 8 cards in deck. The mage has 10 or 9 now. So the mage is definitely, not definitely, the mage is head and fatigue a little bit, but not by much. Guys coming down, not finding, finding only the Spellstone, not the worst, not the best pickup, obviously. Against Duckling Druid, Geist is not the strongest. You usually want to destroy Naturalizes, Cold Bloods, stuff like this, Slow Flyers. Spellstone, not the most important destruction, but what it does do is it does send the Druid into fatigue 1 turn earlier, which may end up mattering in this deck, in this matchup. So that was probably the most significant outcome. Oh, my bad. I need to update it to 2. I just saw that in chat. My bad, guys. Thank you for reminding me, guys. The chat is delayed, so I did not see that. Yes, this is the final game. I apologize for that, guys. Stakes are a little higher than you guys thought. It looks like Twisted now is going to have to decide whether he wants to add more minions to the board or leave it as is. He's pushing 7 currently with his hero power, and he's saying to himself, is 7 enough per turn? Do I really want to be pushing 7? Do I want to push more? If he pushes more, that falls into AoE. Voodoo Doll being picked up does remove some of his power. Obviously, in a token deck, there's not too many tall minions you want to remove. Probably the 5/5 from UI is the biggest one, but as UI is definitely not going to come down in the next coming turns, considering how close to fatigue he is. However, it looks like the Druid's resources are running a bit thin. And the Mage still has access to at least 3 more AoE clears. So, unless Twisted can bait them out somehow, looks like the Mage still might be able to close out the game. Instead of having the Alana or the Jaina to secure the game through board presence, looks like Baron Geddon might be that option. Baron Geddon might just have to push face for 21 or 14 to close out the game. To win a fatigue, rather. With Spellstones destroyed, the only removal tools the Twisted can have to get rid of Baron Geddon would be through swipe and hero powers. Not very reliable. Not very reliable at all. the Druid deciding he doesn't have enough time to just grind it out, that he wants to go fast. So he's opting to just play as fast as possible and get as wide a board as possible. And saying, I'm going to lose in fatigue anyways, might as well just go all in now. And unfortunately he will be punished pretty severely with a Flame Strike. And a Doomsayer being developed. Looks like he will just have to pass this turn. If a Doomsayer does come down. And I was surprised to see the Whispering Woods come out. Not sure why that came out, because Whispering Woods plus Sell the Forest was the only way that the Druid came back in the game. Very, very questionable. Of course, Twisted knows that both Dragon's Furies are gone, so there's no combination of removal that would allow him to first clear the 1/1s and then clear the 2/2s. Because if he had Whispering Woods Sell the Forest, I guess he can do the same thing now, but it's less efficient because there's less minions. Because before, Kain would have had to Artificer like Blizzard or Artificer Flame Strike to try to clear the 1/1s, and then Twisted would have had free reign to go face. It's not exactly missing lethal, but actually, yeah, I'm pretty sure Twisted quote-unquote missed lethal. Because obviously he doesn't know the mage's hand, but there's no way the mage could have cleared first Whispering Woods and then Soul of Forest into Savage Roar and double buff. So, see, this is what I was talking about before, except now that he only has 3 minions up, it's not as effective. Before he could have had 5 or 6 2/2s up and available to attack. But luckily enough, it looks like Twisted has managed to draw all the removal options from Kain's hand. He obviously still has some in deck, but Baron Geddon's the last one in hand left. So if he can develop a board, Baron Geddon's left, and that's it. But you can see Twisted has no more forms of minion generation, except for Spreading Plague, which will not happen. Obviously, it's only 1/5. One of them, an Arcane Tyrant. So it looks like Kainxjm will be moving on to the finals. In a 3-2 sweep, all that's left is for him to play it out. I do think he can technically clear, however. Oh, it's not over yet. He can double Power of the Wild, Savage Roar, which for 7 mana, and then Hero Power for 9 mana. Clear his face with this, double attack. Oh no, he doesn't have enough attacks. Yeah, sorry, no he doesn't. If he had one more attack, he could have cleared. But now it's over. Yeah. Now it is really over. I lied. If he could have cleared that, he could have killed the Doomsayer. And then he could have somehow built the board, but yep, with this Baron Geddon coming down, it is over. UI could clear, but he's taking 2 + 3 + 4 + 5 damage, which is not what you want to see. +6. Looks like he's trying to survive in the fatigue game. Not sure why he wouldn't punch that. Maybe he's trying to Savage Roar next turn? I'm not sure why he wouldn't punch the Baron Geddon. He might have lived in fatigue. Huh, actually, he could have done the math. He might have been able to live, actually. I think if he had Savage Roared and cleared the 7/5, the mage could only ping once per turn and play no minions, and Twisted could have punched face for 3 every turn and maybe 1 fatigue. I think Twisted has made 2 big misplays this game. Once with the Whispering Woods and the Soul of the Forest, and once now. Because if he had Hero Powered, Savage Roared, killed this, the mage has no minions to push face with. The mage only has removal tools in hand. So he could have punched face for 3 every turn. He would have killed him in 8 turns with Hero Power. Which actually would have won him the game. Yeah, I think Twisted just misplayed twice. Huh. Yeah, I think he did. You guys still check the math for me on that, but if you get Hero Power, Savage Ward, kill Baron Geddon, the mage only has spells in hand, and then Twisted can just Hero Power face for 8 turns in a row, Hero Power, Branching Path to stay alive, and then maybe win. Let's see, bring up my count, my T84. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9. He would have taken 45 points of fatigue damage. Plus Branching Paths. Oh no, he would have died. He would have died. That was close. With pings per turn, plus, yeah, no. Even if Twisted had Savage Ward Hero Powered, fatigue would have killed him sooner. But he was about 6 damage off lethal if he went with my play. Yeah, he was very close to winning twice. But, oh, never mind. If Kainxjm runs Sindragosa, whatever I just said is irrelevant. Sindragosa just wins in the game. Some lists don't run Sindragosa, but now it's just over. Let's see what he gets. Yeah, ooh, Tyrantus. That would have just won the game either way, regardless. Okay, so looks like a solid 3-2 from Kainxjm versus TwistedHD. Kain moving on to the finals. Twisted being eliminated. This is we're just waiting to see them finish it out. But as we know, there's nothing Twisted can do. The Control Mage and the Control Warrior able to grind out this Tekken Druid. Very unfortunate series of events for Twisted. And I'm not sure fatigue will kill him. I think he's a couple off fatigue for lethal. That's alright. Alright, I got lethal. 3-4, okay. GG. Type in. Okay, guys. So that has been your HSEL Hearthstone Nationals semifinals between Kainxjm and TwistedHD. Kainxjm coming out 3-2. So congratulations to him. 3-2. GG. Let's give a little clap, guys. Clap in chat. Poggers in chat, boys. So thank you guys for tuning in to the Hearthstone Nationals 2018. We will see you tomorrow for the finals, or we'll see you next time for the finals. It should be a great time. Check out all other games. Remember to check our website, join our Discord, all that fun stuff. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye bye.